Now, we had a contest to see how many miles the bus had traveled. I said 6,060. Well, it seemed like 6,000 miles. It seemed that long that we were in the bus. Now the trip is over. And what was it? It was 2,346 miles that he drove us. Now that's a lot of miles, you know, but of course not 6,000 miles. Now what was the price for that? What was that? Charles brought something on board. Could it have been well, it certainly wasn't a haggis. I didn't win, so I didn't. It probably was a small bottle of scotch. You know, they had them in different sizes. It probably was a small bottle of scotch. I was surprised he brought the scotch, and then that he brought the scotch on the bus. But I shouldn't have been, because when I traveled with Perillo to Italy, you could have wine on the bus. They'd give you little bottles of wine, and you could drink. Well, not the bus driver, he didn't drink, but all the rest of us had wine. Yes, would anyone like wine? Oh, yes, we'd be loved to have it. They had wine. They had champagne wine for breakfast, and then you had wine for lunch, and then you had bottles of wine for dinner. Wine, 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 never ending. Reds and whites and all different kinds, depending upon what part of the country that we were in. So anyway, well, the trip is over. And I certainly did enjoy those crazy New Zealanders, Canadians, and Australians. They were so hard to understand, but they were such fun people, you know. And we just laughed and laughed and laughed. Maybe we were very hard for them to understand. Who knows, you know. You don't know. So Sandy and I are heading for Charleston, South Carolina. And guess who's in line behind us? Marion and Glenn McGinnis. They were the first people we met, and now they are the last ones we see. Isn't that strange? And this time he was in the right line. I think they sat a couple of seats behind us. We had some English money left over. Well, what are we going to do with that? You know, we didn't know. So we spent the last English money on a Starbucks Supreme Caramel and Chocolate Drizzle. I have to laugh because all we do on trips is eat. It's like we can't get any food in America. We'll go someplace else and we'll fill up. Oh, God, don't go to Italy. You'll fill to the top in Greece. Oh, my Lord. Well, anyway, it was wonderful. And I had a few cents for Airways vapor gum. And now some people I wanted to hug goodbye to disappeared before we could do it. I am so mad at myself that I don't have addresses of people. And then that darn Privacy Act that the U.S. has is for the birds. This is the only trip that I was on that I have no addresses. I am so ticked at that. Well, of course I know Sandy, and I did get Barry, and of course Barry will have Kelvin and Adele, and I got Maggie, and her mother Isabel will be in that group, and I got Marion and Glenn. But that's all. Nobody else. And I called up the company, and she wouldn't. She says, we cannot give you any addresses. Well, that's my fault. I mean, I've been on enough trips that I should have had it send a piece of paper around. We could have all, those who wanted to. They always have to say there's someone that might not want to. All right, then don't put it down. But those who wanted to could put their name and address down, and if they want to put their telephone and their email, okay. If not, don't worry about it. I just I could kick myself, because then I could have gone to the copy machine and made copies for everybody. I've done that once before, and oh well, too late. That's the way life is. Always something happening, coming up too late.